Hey guys, hopefully you're having an awesome day. Um, I just wanted to make a quick video on, right now what I'm going to do is make some detailed sanders with hook and loop uh, backing. But, you know, I'm a woodworker, and so I try to, as I'm doing something throughout the day, I'm like, oh, that'd be a great video for somebody else to see, maybe get a tip or something. And for me, I just like to help people out. Hopefully that this will be something that you can do in your shop as well. But I like to use these. These are like old gaming cards, or just plastic cards. You could use like hotel cards, old credit cards, old gift cards. And I tell you, I have a whole little tub full of these old cards and credit cards and all that. And I use these, for example, like let's say you have wood that you've glued up right here. Let's just, as an example, let's say it's glued up right here on the corner and you have to squeeze out. Well, sometimes you can't really get in there with a rag. It's just so funky. So if you cut it in a weird shape, you can really get inside that and get all the glue squeeze out. So there's one way. Another way is I use this as kind of like a squeegee or a scraper, like if I'm doing vinyl or if I'm wanting to spread glue out. All kinds of different ways that I've used these for. Another way that I've found, which you'll see just a moment, is I've also found that where I like to make um, detailed sanders. So say for example, I don't have one right here, but you'll see downstairs here in a moment. If you really need to get into like a really tight itty bitty little spot, and you have, a sanding block, it's kind of hard sometimes to get inside that little area that you're like, ah. So I'm gonna make a really quick and dirty hook and loop detailed sanders, and I'll show you how to make it. And really what I do is you'll probably notice I am in my shop here, we average about, I'd say, like anywhere between 8 to 20 orders that have to be made every day, shipped out, depending, and if you go to our website, bandaspallet.com, you'll see some of the items that I make. But I also make custom items out that aren't listed. So every day there's something going out, and I hate throwing away wood. If I do throw away wood, it's like, I try to, keep it to where it's like minimal. Because what happens is the more wood you throw away, the more product you're wasting, more money that you're wasting. So anyway, the same thing goes with like other things. So for example, this right here is my hook and loop backing that goes on my drum sanders, and usually this rolls like huge, which I have to order some more. But anyway, when I'm done at the end wrapping my drum roller, I have these little cutoff pieces, which these I always keep because you just never know when you need a piece of Velcro to put on something. And so for me, this isn't an extra expense. For you, it might be. If you don't have a drum sander, you could actually just buy sheets of Velcro backing. I'm sure on Amazon for like $5, something really cheap where you can get like an 8x5 or small strips. But since this is something that I already have to purchase, for me, it's not an added expense. It's just something extra that I can use and be resourceful with what I have. Give me just a second. I need to get some chapstick. Let me take a quick break here. This chapstick, if you notice, it's cold out here. My thumbs are always. If you ever see I have Neosporin, because my thumb always cracks from the constant grabbing a material that's sanded and dusty and nasty. So I've noticed. I found this on YouTube. So if you put Neosporin right there, and then you put a Band-Aid, and for me, I just use some cheap painter's tape, which I use that all the time anyway, and I reinforce the Band-Aid. I've found that it helps my this thumb stay really nice and clean. Right here, you probably see I have dry thumb going on here, but obviously I'm a woodworker. But also my lips get extremely dry throughout the winter season, also throughout the year. But this stuff my wife has at her work, and it smells, this is what it doesn't tell you on here, but I think it's like raspberry. And when you put it on, I have big lips, so the bigger size, amazing. So for you big lip people, do it. But anyway, this chapstick smells amazing, but it's also, I'm able to cover my lips really quickly, and I don't have to do the 15 freaking things with the tiny little woman, like the woman's chapstick. This is women's chapstick. No, don't worry, don't worry, it's all right. But anyway, this chapstick, amazing. It smells amazing. So when I have my respirator on, it smells like raspberry in there. It doesn't smell like hot, sweaty respirator breath, which if you wear a respirator all the time, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, excuse me, I'm coughing your ears out. But anyway, what I was mentioning, I don't like to throw away anything, really. And so this is also a cutoff. This is old sandpaper from Tucson. They're a good company. Really light on their sandpaper. It's okay quality. But this right here is stuff that I get from BIS. It's a Merca brand. It's amazing. They're out of St. Louis. Super thick. I use it on my drum sanders that have hook and loop, and also the non-hook and loop, so the ones with the little clips, and it works amazing. So if you see it, I've actually had this on my old sander, which is this one. It's an okay, I think I have, yeah, I burned through it. See, so I kept it because there's still a large portion of this sandpaper that I could use for like what you're gonna see here in just a second. But anyway, I don't like to throw anything away. I like to be resourceful, and let me show you how to make these super quick and dirty hook and loop detailed sanders here. So what I'm gonna do is this has a pill-away backing on it. So. And also, just to be, like I said, don't like to throw anything away. I'm gonna get my scissors, get a marker, just so I can cut it and not be wasteful. So if you can see, actually this card is gonna fit perfectly right here. So what we're gonna do, and actually just so we don't have to mark it and we can just be quick and dirty about it, I have a sharp blade on here. So I'm gonna use, you'll see here in a moment how I use this cutting board for multi-purpose, but I'm just going to go ahead and go over just about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to cut this backing paper. So there's one, and then let me cut another one. I'll come back and trim it here in just a second. So these little pieces I'll use for something else. You never know what I might need it for in the future, but we're going to go ahead and take this backing paper off, and just so I can kind of see, I'll stick it to this side. So this right here, I can maybe leave myself notes telling myself this is this kind of grit. But honestly, I'll show you here a trick here in just a second, what you can do with the sandpaper that I use here. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and stick this on here. If you have a J roller, I would do that, or just get a putty scraper and just push down on it so it adheres to itself. Nice and good adhesion there. Adhesion, that sounds all fresh. Okay. And let's get the other backing on. Let's align it here and put it on. Okay. Oh, it's stuck to the other side because it has a little bit of an overhang there, but man, my knives are gross. Got a little magnet if you can see it, but those magnets actually I use for my sanding pad that it's magnetically held down. I was filling wood yesterday, and usually I clean this up, but homeboy was lazy. Okay. Got these guys on here. Okay, we push it down, it's nice and blah blah blah. And now we're going to go ahead and trim. And it's good that I have the white so I can see, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll see here in just a moment. So we're going to trim the excess off, get the corners out right now since it's long. Dang, this stuff is so sticky. Like when you're putting it on your drum roller, because the rollers are, I think it's aluminum on the rollers. But anyway, you got to be sure of your footing when you put the hook and loop on those rolls, because it's okay. Okay, so So now we're just going to trim the edges here. On this one I might not get so detailed, but this one I think I may use it because it's actually... Alright. So we got our sandpaper here, and what I'm going to do here, since this is the first time that I'm making these little guys, I usually make so what we're going to do here, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So I want to do this strip right here. That'd be kind of nice if it was darn. Okay. So we're going to have to cut it out. So I'm going to get my square. And this video, if you can tell, I am, let me flip this around, so because I have these marks right here that I use for the reference for this little block right here. So if you can see, I cut these pieces on this side. So I'm going to use this side over here for these smaller ones here. So what I'm going to do, you're hearing me think about the process. Sometimes I overthink things, but it's okay. Let's cut the corners off this guy since we're here. These little itty bitty strips out. You want to be careful not to cut your, if you want to, you can cut your card, but you gotta have that surgical precision. Okay, so now we have this one done too. Alright, cool. So I don't want to cut right here because obviously you can see I don't want to put pressure down on my little cutting board here. And you'll see why I have it like this here in a moment. Hold on. So I'm just going to give myself some reference marks on this card here. And it can overhang. It doesn't have to be like engineered out. Okay. So I have my marks of how I want this guy to go. And I'm going to leave myself a, kind of like I've done up here. And you'll see here in a moment. After a while, you just start making little ridges there, and the blade pretty much walks through it there. So we have one set there, and I like to do another one just so I know what's going on here. You'll see here in a moment how I do this. Yeah, like I was mentioning, I'm a woodworker, so every day there's something that has to go out, and I'll leave this out just in case sometimes I put stuff away and I'm like, crap. Okay. So we're good here. Now we're going to cut strips, and this right here is 180 grit, and then this one right here is 180 grit. But I was wanting to mention that I like to save everything, so these I'll use for all kinds of projects. So right here, if you notice, like I said, I burn through this over here, so I can't use this piece right here. But if we roll it up here, if we do our little nail trick, if your nail gets filed down, then you're at a good position to be able to still use it. If it has enough grit. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I went past my line here, and I'm going to cut on these lines using my square. I want to go just a bit over here, and using my square, this helps me to have a square line. So what I'll do here is, this blade is going to be dull here in the next few uses here. So I'll go over here. Cut this guy. So then this guy will cut in half here in a moment. And I like doing it this way because those pieces are small, and also when you're dealing, see, my hands aren't near the blade. Also, you could sit there and do this, but if you've ever tried to cut with a blade and trying to keep the material down, it's a pain in the butt. So I have my square on the line, and then I have my fingers far away from the blade in case the blade wants to go. Plus, I try to arrive alive every day. When you're working with with wood and you're working with, and actually, I think that's good enough. These you'll see here in a moment. I like to cut out strips, but let's finish the task at hand here so you can see these detail centers. You're like, dude, I came for the detail centers, and they're over here talking about chapstick and all over the place. Okay, so we're gonna cut these in half. Alright. I had a guy comment the other day, he's like, gosh, looks like you like sniff factory or cough fest. Yeah, I pretty much cough all day, so you'll hear me clear my throat and all this throughout my videos. So if you don't like that, you might not want to watch my videos. Then this is where you cue the DJ Khaled. So I might, just since we're here, let me go ahead and just go ahead and I'm gonna make a kind of a perforated line so that I know that this line is a little different. You can kind of see I have solid lines for this guy, and then I have my perforated line for this guy here. Just so, as you're going through it and just getting things done, you know, I guess I better go a little bit higher because that strip is a little higher. Oh, what the hell did you get on the line, bro? Come on now. Let my kids say, bruh. Bruh. Okay. So now, are we good here? Yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and align this way because I like to keep that material held down. Hopefully you're seeing this, man. If you're not, darn it. Alright, so we're good. Go ahead and cut this out. And let's check this out. Let's see how this works. So look at this. I was going to say you could write it out on here if you want to get, but the number's already on the back. Boom. Merca. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That is what I'm talking about. So, let's go ahead and get this stuff down here. And, look at that. Super flexible. You can get into wherever you want. This one we're going to keep intact. The next one we're going to... And these are great, too. These are also good, so, you can... Let me get my nasty scissors here. Those aren't nasty, but my actual, sandblock scissors. These are painted on, and I have to sharpen these all the time because these go with my sandpaper. So you can cut these into little smaller pieces. So if you really want to get into a little crevice there, you can. This is really thick. You could use that as well, but I kind of like to have something a little bit harder, so that's why I'm making these. So let's make this other one, and this one I'm going to chop up. And you'll see here in a moment why. We're going to go ahead and take that out. Listen, I know I keep everything, but I won't keep, this little piece. So that will actually go in the trash. So if my wife watches this, yes, I do throw some of this stuff away. Okay? Okay? Alright, so, watch your blade. We're going to keep, which one did we say? That one we're going to keep intact. Okay, this guy, we're going to go ahead and put our sandpaper on this guy. And I think I may do him right here. So we're gonna, and to keep with safety purposes, we're gonna go ahead and get this guy, let's see, right around there. Okay. And my finger's not anywhere near the blade. That would not be fun. And I just thought about what I could use those strips for. This one's going to take a while. It's kind of like cutting. Okay, that took a few times. So see, now we have little strips here. Boom. And those pieces that were cut offs, look at that. Dude. So now you can go ahead and get into all kinds of crazy nooks and crannies with these little flexible things. And look at this. So what's that Bob guy, the painter? Brush, tree right here. So anyway, the next thing that I need, I want one that's kind of pointy, because you'll see here in a moment, I'm going to probably need, and you can make this whatever shape you want. That's why I like using things that are already going to be trash anyway. So this is kind of a, so we're going to go ahead and put our square up to the cutting board here. Watch your fingers and go slow. Just, you know, it's not a speed contest when you're cutting with a blade. Take it slow. I like to pretty much score it right here. And once you've scored it, you can feel it kind of going through there. I can feel the adhesive like gum. So now look at that. I have like a really, you could get really sharp with that tip, but that's good enough for me with what I'm going to use it for. So now from now on, if I do need more, I'll just take off my sandpaper. I won't use that guy. This is my cutoff. That, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. It's already kind of there. Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll just stick this guy here. And then I don't even need a mark it or anything. So just bend this up so you can see what's going on. Actually, I'll kind of get this way so you can see on the camera. I'm going to use my card as my template. So remember, watch your hands. Don't let the blade go crazy on you. See, so from now on, I can keep cutting these little pieces, and kind of like a Dremel tool, you can have all these accessories for pretty, you know, kind of for free. If you already use this stuff, like I mentioned before, you may have to buy this stuff. But another thing you can do, like for most guys I know, might have, let me see here. Let me grab a crappy old disc sandpaper here. So let's say you have one of these sandpapers and you want to use, let's say the right kind of here-ish. So let's say you got there. So hey, now you can still use this. These are a little bit thinner too, so they're going to be easier to cut. So we're just going to cut the template out. And boom, you have yourself a stick. And this is actually just a piece of sandpaper that's already been gummed up and tore up. And then you can use this for, you know, if you wanted to use like smaller strips, you know, depending on the size, or if you want to get really, I'm just digging out of my trash can now. I don't want to use this. So if you want to get really dangerous, you can put this guy here, or maybe not. You know, it helps if you actually like use the backing. So yeah. So we're going to use this guy right here. Okay. So we're doing here, and you can cut these into any shape. Like if you're making like really intricate small cuts, this would be awesome for that. So see, now you have, I mean, it has the holes, which honestly your orbital sander, it has the holes in it for the for the dust collection. But honestly, it's not that big a deal. If you're not, it's not like you're doing miles of sanding with this thing. This is more, you're really wanting to get kind of right here, or in this weird little, like, you know, like maybe you cut like a weird like hole area and you're wanting to get inside there, and the freaking sanding block is like, it's not getting in there. Anyway, all this to tell you, you can make your own stuff. Just be resourceful. And anyway, so let me show you how, another way, the main reason. This I use for when I'm cutting my my drum sandpaper. This is an old cutting board that I buy at like Walmart. You can go to like Woodcraft for like the price of gold and buy them, or you can go to Walmart for like $1 or $5 or something really cheap compared to like paying for gold. But anyway, what I do is, if you watch my videos, I show you how to make, you know, that curve on your sandpaper. I have these little clamps up above my head here, that spring clamps that they've paid for themselves well over 1 million times. So if you are at Home Depot and you want to, if you have $5 in your pocket, these are 99 cents. You can buy 5 of them. So get them, 99 cents each. Okay. One of the hacks that I do with these is if you watch my videos, I use this glue a lot. It's a polyester polyurethane glue is freaking beast. It's great if I'm using this more for like shop things. So for example, what I'll do is I'll take off these darn things, because I've seen a lot of videos where the guys on these little plastic things, they don't have them on there, and it's like, how do you put that on your wood and you're like marring up your wood, dude? So let me see if I can find one that the piece is loose, and you'll walk. Well, those are on. Usually when I buy them, I like to glue. Well, they're glue, you know, I can't show it to you. So maybe one of these. Maybe. I glued those. Maybe this guy. Oh, dude. Caught me slipping. No filter for Instagram on this one. Okay. Well, those are good. Well, now you're going to get to walk through and see what I do with these. So the trick to these guys is probably all dusty from working every day. So we're going to move it. I have another bottle over there, but use what you got, man. Okay, so if you can see it, hopefully you can. If not, I'm sorry, but I have glue in there, I promise. No editing or anything. So we're going to put that in here. Kind of give it a little squeeze. Move all that glue around. And then I'm not going to touch this one for probably about a day and a half, just letting it cure. So what I've done is on all my clamps, I glue that. This I really don't care. That hardly ever messes around. But this is like when you go and you pull it, freaking thing stays there. If you have that problem, hit the like and subscribe button, because you know the problem. So these stay on there. Once I put that little guy on there, probably like once every 2 years or so, that glue does get a little funky from constant use. I mean, you get tired too, right? Like from constant use. So that guy gets tired. He has feelings. So I'm going to put this guy up here. So another thing, gosh dang, you're just going to get all like 15 minutes of tips here. Another thing I like to do is I like to take this. I don't think I'll find one, but if I do, this is another pet peeve of mine. I found this clamp right here. I bought it just because it was like 50 cents. So here's a clamp here, and it doesn't have the plastic shoes on it, and I don't use it at all, because if you really dig in, it's going to dent the crap out of your wood. So I keep it, you know, like if I'm doing like a project in the shop that doesn't require a presentation, like, you know, to a customer, I'll use it. I'm not bashful with that. But I think these ones might. So let me just. Ooh, this one's kind of loose. So if you see, this one has already had it before. So on these, this guy I usually like just leave unless it's loose. If it's loose, I'll bust some of this guy on here. But once you get it, grab you some polyurethane glue. Gorilla Glue needs a sponsor, man. I use all their stuff all the time. So anyway, I get this guy right here, pop it in there, and then I push it up, and then give it a little squeeze, and then leave that beast alone for a day and a half or so. And then, whenever you go to use them, oh, see, here's another one. Like I mentioned, every couple of years from constant use and abuse, messing around with the body there. Oh, see, this one squeezed out, and that polyurethane glue is no joke. So make sure you clean it up. It's like extra oily and ooey gooey. So this guy's on here. So I do this with all my clamps, and then I'll give it a squeeze, let that just sit there, and I kind of set them aside too. I know, don't mess with those. Since I'm here, oh, this one's on. I must have just done this one about a year ago or so. It's on. So I do that to all my clamps just because, man, I hate when I'm clamping stuff. And then I take my clamp off and I slide it off, and that freaking thing gets stuck there and it stays there, or they fall off. That's the best way. I've never had to replace them. Usually I buy these clamps at Harbor Freight. They're cheap. Great. They are cheap, but people rag on Harbor Freight. It's not bad. Back to the task at hand, people. Let's go ahead and clean up all of our mess here. And I just broke the lid, bro. Man, that's all right. Okay, so now we're back. Why, how, and why I use this. So anyway, once you get your design on your or your drawing down of your sandpaper, and like for example, you can see the pencil line on this one. So what I'll do is I'll clip this right here. And I kind of set it at the edge here to where I have enough room to clamp down on my little strip here of cutting board. Just make sure I'm just as an example, I'm showing you what I do here. So I get all of my clamps, and then from here I'm able to cut my sandpaper, and then I'll take off these dudes, and I'll move my sandpaper and do the other side, whatever shape that is. But here's the other way that I use this little cutting board, and all this cutting board is, like I said, it's just a cutting board, countersunk, some screws, just some old scrap 1.5 blocks that I had from something that I didn't throw away. So anyway, we're back here. I have made little marks showing the size of my sand block. So if you don't have these, I got this one at Menards. I'm sure I can buy it on Amazon. I can probably leave a link showing you how to buy it from my affiliate store and all that stuff, which I probably will eventually when I have some time. So anyway, I've already have my marks here, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to cut right up here. Or I might just, that's whatever you want to do, dude. You're like the boss in your shop. In your shop. You got it. In your shop. I'm just trying to get inside the house and trying to be acting all tough. Cool. Alright. So then we got this guy. Oh, we're not using that. That's maybe that guy for our new friend. Look at that. We can use it. It's like my brother-in-law, he would watch a show called I Don't Know. It's one where they make the knives and the guy's like, this will kill. I was referencing that, I'm like, oh, this will work. So this is not going to be used right. So we're going to go to the end here. Now if the sandpaper is like completely, which this must have had the setting obviously too low for the drum sander to burn through, that sucks. But we're moving on with life here, so we're just making strips here, and you're gonna see when I'm there, you know, if I have this little board out and I have this out and I'm doing something like you just saw this detail thing, I will make I'll make a whole bunch of these little guys and just finish off the strip. So I change my sandpaper all the time. So if the sandpaper is okay, I'll keep it and use it for my sanding block so that I can get that little extra, if you're breaking the edge, off your pieces that you ran through a drum sander. So what you see here, these little guys will last a while, but they've already ran their use, so really it's like, what about these things? Dude, cutting and clamp. Okay, we're good. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so this guy, obviously, he's a little dude. I can't use him right here, but I can use him on other. I'm not going to do that right now. But you get the point. I don't have to throw anything away. Hopefully this video, you saw something in it that'll help you out in any way. I need to clean my mess. I'm going to take you guys downstairs if we're still recording. Yes, we sure are. So I'll take you guys downstairs here in a second. I'm going to keep these for future reference or for future usage. These are, I think I need to replace this guy away. So anyway, we were going to get, these will work for this. This will work for these little guys, which I didn't, if you maybe that guy right there. Why not? Why not? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. So you can see, these are sometimes, they give me like 30-some million rolls of that little perforated paper that's already done. So let me go ahead and just, since we're here, And I think it's the same. No, I don't remember it. We're gonna go ahead and stop the video right here, and you know what I'm saying. You've already seen me do it. I need to get my butt to work. Just talking to all these YouTubers. So this is where we clean up our mess after we've made a mess. See, OCD in me does not. I have to put stuff back like exactly where I had it so that I can find it for the future. Okay, so this guy here. And these guys are not going to get thrown away. This guy is not used yet. I'll take you guys downstairs here in just a moment. Let me